Welcome back, people, to chapter 3. Now, this I think is a part of the book that excites me so much. All right, all the parts excite me, and this part is actually it's powerful. We have chapter 3, image and likeness, the pyramid and the tree. Right. I remember when this cover was designed by my friend Francis. Somebody saw it and said, "This thing looks cultic," right? It looks occultic, isn't it? That is absolutely interesting. So let's go straight to the point. He said, "I'm sure the seemingly bizarre cover of this awesome book has caught a bit of your attention and curiosity. Someone even told me it looks cultic. Fun, isn't it?" I'm grateful to my brother, like I said, for designing the cover, Francis Asante. Brilliant guy. The tree has 4 branches, but at the stem, it is one. Now, every tree, most trees, the typical tree I'm talking about, it has one stem, one trunk, and then it gets to a point, and then it begins to branch. Right? The branches are all part of the tree. I'm saying the stem signifies the oneness of the Tetranity. Now that we have established that the Tetranity is real, the stem represents the oneness of the Tetranity, and the 4 branches portrays the 4 manifestations of God. So at the stem is the oneness, and at the branches is the distinction. I told you it's all about understanding oneness and distinction, all dwelling at the same time in the same place. And what better example can we look at apart from a tree with 4 branches, right? Sorry. And then so that is the essence of this tree here. So this has got nothing to do with any flying spaghetti monster. And then we have, and I say a square pyramid has 4 sides, 4 visible sides, and a base. The base, when it's lying there, you might not actually see the base. The square base signifies, just like the tree, the square base signifies the oneness of the Tetranity, right? And the 4 visible faces portrays the 4 manifestations of God, with man as the 4th person of the Godhead, isn't it? Okay, so the cover was just an attempt to depict the things, to depict things which are 4 yet one. It has nothing to do with the Freemasons. Anytime people see the pyramid, they talk about the Freemasons. Anytime they see people, in Jay-Z concert doing this, they're saying nothing. The spirit behind the thing is what matters, right? So this has got nothing to do with the Freemasons. Nothing to do with the Freemasons, alright? So I say it has nothing to do with the Freemasons or the so-called Illuminati. They do not owe the patents to a pyramid. Do they owe the patent? Do they own the patents to this? Do they own it? They don't. What is the Illuminati? What is the Freemasons? Actually, ain't nothing compared to the power behind this book. So this is not for them, right? Okay, so I say in this section I'll be using 2-dimensional objects in plane geometry to simplify explanations, actually, right? The Trinity made man in both their image and likeness. Now keep these 2 words. These 2 words, don't miss them. Image, likeness. Excellent. And I said, if one old man would comprehend the gravity of this statement, the world would be a much better place. What do you think? Images depicts an outward appearance. Likeness depicts an inward. I think it was a mistake. An inward, right? It's supposed to be an inward properties and makeup. Inward, how someone looks like inward, right? Inward, right? I cannot believe this type of error escaped all of us. But anyways, so what I'm saying is that the likeness depicts the inward properties and makeup, right? So inward is likeness, image is what? Inward is likeness, inward, and the image is outward, right? So let's get that settled in our minds, and let's move on. And now I'm saying that if God created man in his image alone, man would just look outwardly like God on the outside, but not on the inside. And that would make man what? A demigod, right? Man will be no different from the lookalike of a public figure, enjoying some publicity just because of outward resemblance, but cannot do anything the public figure does. I once met a guy who looked, I'm sure in many countries where we have celebrities, you would find someone who looked exactly like a particular celebrity. A particular celebrity, you will find that this person looks exactly like this. In John in the Revelation, he mistook an angel for Jesus. You know why? John had worked with Jesus for a long time, for 3.5 years. He knows how the guy looks like. Here was he going to bow to an angel. You know why? The Bible tells us this angel was Jesus' personal angel, whom Jesus sent to come and show the revelation to John. And John was going to bow. You know why? The angel was in Jesus' image. He looked like Jesus. In the spirit realm, the more you look at the thing, the more you begin to look like them. The more you close it to the spirit, the more you begin to look like the spirit. You begin to pass on their qualities to you, especially their outward resemblance. And John was going back until the angel spoke. John thought the angel was Jesus. He said, make sure you do not do it. Isn't it? Yeah. So images are dangerous. Appearances are deceptive. For example, I once watched a movie where there was somebody in it who resembled the president, and he was enjoying a lot of publicity, image, but he had no likeness of the president, right? And likeness will always show up when you speak and you begin to act. But as long as you are quiet and standing somewhere, the image would help you. So if God made man only in his image, he would look like this. And I made an example. I heard about a man who was very broke, who went around and borrowed expensive things from friends, and then went to town, borrowed cars, borrowed everything from his head to toe. Everything was borrowed. Now, such a man, when someone looks at him from afar, you say, "Oh, that's a rich guy coming." He had the image of a rich man, but none of the likeness, because he was broke. If God made man in his image alone, man would be like that, right? Yeah. We are not looking for. We don't want people who like God's look alike. Man is not God's look alike. Man is not God's look alike, right? Okay. So I said the guy had the image of a rich man. I'm on page 13, right? So, but that wasn't even close. Blah blah. So I'm saying God didn't want man to look like an imposter or a demigod, right? So just God's image was not enough. He wanted man to be in his likeness as well. So man would be like God inside out. And I put Selah there. When you see Selah, it means pause and meditate. Think, absorb it. Just hold on for a minute and just think about this. Just keep thinking about it. God wanted man to be like him, inside and outside. Never has this thing ever happened. But God was making something like this. Never. And I was just trying to keep on explaining. I said, do you know your eye? Look at your eye like this. Your eye. Do you know your eye has not really? Do you know your eye has never really seen how it really fully looks? Right. What I'm trying to say is that you know this eye, yours, as you're watching it now. You've only seen just a little part of your eye. Your eye itself has never seen how it looks like itself. That's unfair, because it is an organ that we see things through, but it has not seen itself before. Right? Just think about it. Right? And do you know that you can never see how you fully look like on your own? For example, you cannot look at. Can you fully view your back alone? You cannot. Without help, you cannot. Right? You cannot fully view yourself. Right? You cannot look at your back alone. Blah blah blah. Now, and I will just explain the mystery. It is the same with the Trinity. The Trinity couldn't have a complete view of themselves by by themselves bodily. But all this would soon change with the inception of God the man. What I'm trying to say is this. It is man that allowed God to view himself from outside, to see how he really looks like. Munch on that for a little while. Now God could stand at a distance and see himself, see how he really looks like. Man. So anytime God saw man, he saw himself. And I added what? Bodily. Because man had a body. That was his class. We come to that. There's a chapter called the physical body. We come to that later on. And then I'll buttress on this one. Still on page 13. Man was going to be the express fullness of the Trinity in both image and likeness. When I say express fullness, I mean the exact fullness of the Trinity in both image and likeness. This would offer the Trinity a chance, it should be a chance, not a chance, a chance to completely view themselves from without themselves. That is, they're going to view themselves from outside. Or so like I've already said, physically. Man will let God see himself in all reality in total. That is, in total. Alright? He will embody the fullness of the Godhead, not only spiritually, but bodily also, physical body. This was going to be the first in history and eternity. It has never happened before that God made anything like this. There was a guy who was not happy with how God made him. He wanted the likeness and he failed. That's why he said, I'm going to be like the Most High. We'll come to that later on. Now let us get to the drawing board to explain the image and likeness. I'm just using this for us to understand the more of how fearfully and wonderfully made we are. Alright? Now let us get to the drawing board and let's represent image and likeness of the Trinity with we're going to use shapes, right, to represent image. And we're going to use taste of fruits to represent likeness. Now why did I do this? I'm doing this just to make us for explanatory purposes, right? So I put an NB there. I said I'm not making images to represent God for idolatry or worship. I'm doing so for understanding and educational purposes, right? Simply engage the imaging power of your mind and understand, right? Some people are just into images and stuff. So we're on page 14, right? And I'm trying to use our senses to try to make our consciousness grasp these things. And what better way to use our eyes and our tongue, right? Now, let us start with our eyes. Now, I've told you, he said, let us. When he says let us, it's plural, talking about the distinction. So we have the Father's distinction. We have the Word's distinction. And we have the Spirit's distinction. Got it? So, I use this, right? You'll find this on page 14 right here, where we have the triangle, the 5-pointed star, and the line. Right? And I said, I'm on image. I said, let us presume that the image, all these are assumptions, but just for understanding. And then when we transfer this thing to our spiritual mind, it is power and boldness and fearlessness beyond measure. Right? So I use a triangle, right, to represent the Father, an equilateral triangle. And then we use the 5-pointed star to represent the Son. And then we used the line to represent the Spirit. So let us. So we got this saying, let us make man in how we look like. So how then would man look? He will look like this. Now this is powerful. I just feel like shooting up like a rocket from here. This is oh man, I wish we had all the time in the world, right? So just pause this video wherever you are and just meditate on this for some time. You are fearfully and wonderfully made, people. Religion, never wish you know this. Now let's come to likeness. So I said, this is why I'm using taste. Maybe you can try this at home, right? Let us presume that the Father tastes like an apple, the Son tastes like grapes, and the Spirit tastes like pineapples, right? Man would hereby be the fruit cocktail of the apple, grapes, and pineapple. A mixture of these three. So then I said, man is the divine cocktail of the Trinity in this regard, flowing with all the pleasant aroma and taste and goodness of divinity. This is amazing, right? So this is the likeness. This is the likeness. So it's going to be a mixture of all these three. Now what am I doing? I'm giving you the recipe for man from God's own cooking pot. When God was brewing man, when God was making man, this was the recipe he used. Just like how when you're cooking at home, you have your recipe. Recipe, you have your ingredients. Yeah. So this is the ingredients. The ingredients was the Father's image. The ingredients was the Father's image, the Son's image, and the Spirit's image. In addition to the Father's taste, the Son's taste, and the Spirit's taste as likeness, mixed together, brewed in the heavenly pot, and man was brought out God, and then he was given a physical body in addition. Woo! Man is God, no doubt about that. Okay? And I said mystery. When I say mystery, you should be worried. I have to explain this. I'm saying, so I said, I'm on page 15. Before I said mystery, I said in God, in man, God could fully view, God could fully see how he really looks like. Wow, this is powerful. How he really looks like, how he smells like, how he sounds like when Adam talks. Oh, this is the first time God is actually hearing himself talk from without himself. So this is how I really sound like. Oh, yeah, this is how I really look like. This is beautiful, right? And how he feels like, and how he tastes like bodily. Of course, man had a body, isn't it? Okay, mystery. I said God took out one key component of his likeness from man and kept it on the tree. It's not hidden. It is right in our Bible. This tree is what is called the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, right? He did this to give the man time to manifest the fullness of his Godhead bodily. When the fullness of time comes and man is matured, he will partake of this power of divinity and complete his godhood bodily. God himself knew that until man had this kind of knowledge, he cannot fully be like them in knowledge. The serpent used this to his advantage when he tempted man. We see this in the words of the serpent and in the words of God. Now hold on for a minute. This is what I'm trying to say. After man had been brewed, made, created perfectly like God, something was taken out. And I'm going to tell you why that thing was taken out. Because man had a body. You see, God has never been in a physical body. This was the first time. Now, once a spirit is united, a spirit which is eternal and infinite, is united with something that is finite, like clay that was used to make man, the dust of the ground, it's going to pose some limitations on the spirit. Now, man would have to grow. Right? He will have to grow within that body and fully manifest his godhood. Now that shouldn't be a surprise. Look at Jesus. He said, and the child grew. Jesus was God, but because he came in the flesh, he had to grow. Notice, anytime you come in the flesh, you have to grow. That is why Jesus Christ had to grow for 30 years before he started work. The Bible said, and the child grew in wisdom and waxed great in wisdom. He grew. So Jesus had to grow. Right? That's the verse right down there. He grew. You can check that verse. He grew. That is the Son of God. And Adam was the Son of God. It's in the Bible. And that verse is right down here too. So he grew, so Adam had to grow to the fullness of time and partake of the tree. Just in the same way, Christ had to grow to the fullness of time and receive the Holy Ghost. Then he would fully be God, and God would say, "This is my beloved Son in whom I'm well pleased." And the devil said, ain't getting none of that, ain't getting none of that, not today. I'm going to come against this plan. That's what I'm trying to explain here. It's a mystery, but it's right there. Man had to grow. That is the little problem this thing brings. But then, after you have grown in this body and fully manifested your Godhead, then you become powerful on the planet. It was just a little time. The devil couldn't allow that. Now, I gave proof, right? This is the devil speaking. Genesis chapter 3 verse 5. He says, "For God doth know that in the day ye eat thereof, then your eyes shall be open, and ye shall be like gods, knowing good and evil." Said the devil to Eve. Was that a lie? That part was not a lie. It was true. People, the devil is a liar. But you should know, the best and effective way of telling a lie is to tell 90% truth and 10% lies. That is all it takes. He told them everything that was true. Everything the devil told them was true. The only thing that he said that was a lie was that he told them that they wouldn't die when God had told them they will die. That was the lie. But everything he said about the tree was true. And we see it in the words of God in Genesis 3:22. When God said, and the Lord God said, "Now the man has become like one of us." That means the Father had this knowledge, the Son had this knowledge, the Spirit had this knowledge, but man didn't have this knowledge. And then the Bible said God made man in his image and likeness. That means that after he had made him in his likeness, this verse makes me conclude that God took away this knowledge. And where did he take it to? He kept it right close to the man on the tree, waiting for the appointed time. The man all he had to do was to wait. Right? If you eat from a tree that is not yet mature for you, you're going to die. If you're a grown man, you can eat some stuff. Nothing's going to happen to you. If you give it to a baby, it's going to die. It wasn't time yet for Adam, but then he did. So the devil knew this, God knew this. And then, tragedy came. But let us enjoy our image and likeness a little bit because it's sweet. So this is how we end this chapter. We'll be going to the next chapter very soon. But this part is powerful. Stay here for a while. Meditate. And let the Spirit of God add more to this. Look at this book, just a few pages. But there is more the Spirit of God can tell you. Allow Him, let Him minister to you to understand this part. Look, you are God's image, God's likeness. When God stands there and you stand there, no difference. Wow, that is precious. And so are you. God bless you. See you in the next chapter. Bye.